What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And I'm back with another live stream for y'all. And today is actually going to be kind of an interesting one. We're going to be doing our top 10 favorite TV shows of all time. A show, I'm already losing it. A list that I thought I would never do on this channel because I'm usually not the guy for TV shows. But after a couple of entries on my list, I'll just hint at it for you right there. Yeah, that's when I started becoming to binge more shows. But as you can see, I have a very special guest with me here today, a newcomer to the channel, but I have collabed with this guy before, but it was on the Suit Up Geeks channel during our suspenseful thrillers movie draft. So please help me welcome my very good friend Cody, aka the Brock Ops side. What's up, Cody?
What's up? What's up? Happy to be here.
Of course. Fix it. There we go. Connection issues. So. But yeah, basically how this is going to go. So obviously, since I have a guest, he is going to go first, listing off our 10 through 1. And I think we'll save honorable mentions for the end because I do actually have some honorable mentions that because there were so many shows that could have easily made my list, but some of them just get bumped off. But how was this list for you, Cody?
For a few of them, it was a very easy, like no contest for like the top 3 or 4. But in the rest of them, I was like, oh shoot, what TV shows would I actually put in the rest of my top 10? Because there's so many I like, but then I had a lot of thoughts of like, how many times have I rewatched these shows? Do the characters stick with me? Do I quote it with my friends on a regular basis? So there were a lot of factors that went into this, but I think I've made a pretty solid list here overall.
Awesome, man. I can't wait to hear it. But my list is probably going to get some controversies, so be prepared. Because believe me, I actually have some shows on my list that everybody will be like, what? I'll be like, calm down. This is just our list. So let's clarify one thing. This is our list. So but feel free to let us know what you guys have for your list down in the comments also, because we're free to take any comments and questions also as we go along with this list. So, but yeah, some of my shows on my list got bumped back and forth. Like no, this one, no. But and some got bumped off because, well, there's one show that I kept thinking about for a while, so that's actually on my list. But no spoilers, of course, because we're not doing that yet. But let's hit the chat here really quick before we get started. Got my buddy Steven in here. What is up, my dude?
What's up?
Superstar Studios Plush. What is going on? Thank you so much for stopping by. Says howdy. Says, hey, Cody, thanks for coming. Just sub to Cody. Well,
thank
good
you.
Man. Yeah, and also get this guy to 1K subs because he deserves it, of course.
Oh, thank you.
So, of course, man. That's what we're all here for some support. And why not? While we're at it, subscribe to my channel as well. Hit that big old subscribe button and that notification bell. Getting close on 3 hundos, so hopefully we can get there soon.
Nice.
So, Andreas Kroneman is also in here. Hi from Germany. Stream started later than expected. Oh, it's 11:36 on the. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's about 4 o'clock. It's around 4:30, like where I'm at. So, yeah, I live in the central area. So.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's about 2:30 where I am. So.
Oh, you live in the Pacific Coast. Okay.
Yeah, Pacific Coast, baby.
But Cody, what do you say we get started, man?
Sounds good.
Yep. So what is your number 10?
My number 10 is not like it's not your traditional modern day, dramatized, overarching narrative type TV show. This is one that's purely childhood nostalgia goggles through and through. And that would be the original Blue's Clues.
Yeah. It's all good, man. You go ahead.
I've got like a the Notebook back there for sentimental value and all of that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's just one of those shows that's just stuck around with me my entire life through the characters, the music, and it's just a great example of how you can make a show that's entertaining to people, people like, yay big, but also adults can have fun with it too, I think. And I think it's just cool that, it's been able to come back, all these years later, so a new generation gets to grow up with it. But, it's just one of those special things that if you grew up with it, with all the VHS tapes and stuff, then it'll probably stick with you, which I think is an example of a great show, which is why it's number 10.
It definitely did for me, I'll tell you that. But that is not. I mean, sometimes those types of shows I just forget about because I watched them as a kid, and I'm like, and I grow up, and I'm just like, oh, well, that existed. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely that's a great pick because I mean I watched a lot of the Blues Clues VHS tapes growing up for sure, but somehow they're thrown out, they're burned up, so I'm just like,
Oh, yeah.
well, can't go back and revisit my childhood. Except I only have like a Blues Room VHS that I can watch sometimes if I want to go back and relive my childhood.
Oh, yeah.
But it depends. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Blues Clues, that's a good pick. I mean, not gonna say anything else about it. It's a good pick.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta have some variety in the top 10 list. So,
For sure. Yeah. But my number 10, the I don't I think this is the show that honestly made MTV as popular as it was back in the early 2000s. Going
mhm.
with Jackass.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm a kind of a Jackass fanatic. If Zach Goller were here, he'd kind of be like, "What? Jackass is your number 10?" Sorry, I love Jackass. Just the concept of these dudes just doing stupid stuff for our entertainment, like that's just the magic of what these dudes can do. Yes, it obviously causes them to be sent to the hospital or anything like that, but they do it for our entertainment. They sacrifice their bodies for our entertainment. But the show only went on for 3 seasons, so because of constant battles, because it was during an election year. The reason why the show got canceled.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
Hmm.
because it was actually an election year, and Joseph Lieberman was coming down hard on the show. Like he was being tough on Hollywood, and basically there was OSHA people assigned to the show saying they couldn't jump off anything higher than 3 feet. So they couldn't do the show like they wanted to. So Knoxville quit, and then Spike and Jeff literally came up to him and was like, "Hey, you want to do a Jackass movie?" And
Hmm.
and that's kind of what spawned the whole franchise. So I was like, I
Oh,
mean,
that's
I
interesting.
will say that the movies are better because
Hmm.
they do a lot more.
Mhm.
But as for the show, I mean, what they gave us in the beginning, I'm still good for it because I mean, I love Jackass for what it is. I mean, I get it; it's not for everybody, but
Mhm.
you know, for someone like me who can actually handle that kind of stuff, so that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never been like too invested into Jackass, but it's like you said, it's just a lot of fun to watch these guys just, screw around and, injure themselves for comedic purposes. 'Cause I feel like we've all had like those friend groups where you just kind of go mess around and do dumb stuff, but this is like cranked up to 11, maybe even 12. So there's almost like, that I think as long as you get like the sense they're all just having a good time, they're brutalizing each other for our entertainment. So, and there's nothing else
Yeah,
quite like it too. So it's very unique.
yeah, and again, I think this is the show that honestly made MTV like come back out of the water instead of just putting out crappy shows, even though they are they are doing it now again.
Hmm.
Jesus,
Yep.
which so yeah, Jackass has. I mean, it was probably gonna be my number one, but there's been so many shows that I've been either watching recently or ones that that I just consistently remember. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, Jackass is my number 10. You have Blue's Clues. What do you say we move on, man?
Sounds good.
All right, let's get on to number 9. What do you got, man?
All right. So for my number 9 is still more of the lighthearted variety, but is for an older audience, and that would be Whose Line Is It Anyway? The improv
Oh,
show, more primarily the original, hosted by Drew Carey with Ryan Stiles, Colin Mockery, all of them. It's just one of those things that you can watch any clip of it and have a blast with it, just seeing these guys make up all these obscene scenarios with an audience, and it's one of those shows I can always turn on and be guaranteed to laugh and have a good time, just because they're the masters at improv, and it's just you can't go wrong with the show, I think.
Yeah, like there are some moments in that show. I've seen some episodes of the show. I never like watched it like everything of the show, but it is
Hmm.
funny for sure. But some of those lines, I'm just like, that's a bit too obscene for my taste. So, but
Not for me, it isn't.
again, so, again, some shows are basically acquired taste. So that's the reason why if we say it's not going to be for everybody, that's because well, some content within shows just obviously are not for everybody.
Yeah.
But my number nine, um, this is a show I've honestly been watching for like I think I was kind of late to the party on it. I started watching it when around 2014 or 13, late 2013, early 2014, and I binged through that whole show until the season 12, which we got a few years ago, the final season, Big Bang Theory.
Oh, cool.
Yes, honestly, if you make a show that has like that you can relate to in regards to the characters, Big Bang Theory would be it for me because obviously people like us were big geeks and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Especially freaking Sheldon Cooper, who I think is one of the best characters in TV history. Like his smart comments just make so much sense, even though obviously they can be hit or miss at points, but they're still funny. Like especially when he
Yeah.
makes those bazinga. Like I've always wanted to go to a golf nightclub. Really, bazinga.
Yeah.
Don't you ever see my practical jokes coming? Um, yeah, Jim Parsons. No wonder why he won some Emmys for that show because let's face it, he's great in the show. Johnny Galecki, Leonard Hofstadter, one of my dudes. Yeah, I mean, I love The Big Bang Theory. It is honestly one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. Again, I don't know if it's my favorite sitcom of all time. It kind of switches between that and Friends, which is an honorable mention, by the way.
Hmm.
I did not put that on my list. But I don't know. I mean, I think that one might be it because again, that's the one I've like been into more and watched like a lot more episodes of. So yeah, I'm gonna go with The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there was a period in my life like a few years ago where I was like just super obsessed with the show. In fact, that's probably one of my honorable mentions. It didn't make the top 10, but it's like there was a time where I was really into the show and I just really liked the characters and the zany situations they got into. As time progressed, I kind of lost interest in it a little bit, but I don't know when I stopped watching, but I think someday I'll definitely have to kind of pick back up and finish it all the way through because it ended like what 3 4 years ago now.
I think about 3 years ago because I think that's when they
Yeah,
had their final season.
yeah.
So
So yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. It's definitely a lot better than a lot of people online will give it credit for.
yeah, because honestly, there are going to be people that think that their best sitcom is Full House, which I totally respect. That's fine, but I find that show overrated. Like because
Yeah.
again, like they kind of deal with like the most boring of topics, like who's going to do the dishes or who can
Hmm.
limbo the lowest or anything like that. That's boring. I
Yeah.
get it's for simple pleasures, but as you get
Yeah.
older, that stuff can get kind of boring. So that's the reason why, like, I mean, sometimes the Big Bang Theory will sometimes like depict some serious topics, but they can still make them funny.
Hmm.
So, but let's hit the chat here really quick before we move on. Last year's the gags decline. Which, oh, I think you're talking about whose line is it or something. I have no idea. Last year's the
Ah,
gags for Big Bang Theory. That makes more sense. I got to say what's up to Movies and Train Studios, a fellow supporter here of the channel. What's going on, my dude? He told me he was checking out Bullet Train, and I'm like, good man. It's a good movie. But
yeah.
let's move on to our number 8. What do you got, Cody?
All right. So now this is where things are getting serious.
Oh,
All right.
I'm
So
ready.
this one, some people might give me crap for putting it on here, but I don't care. I love this show. My number 8 is going to be Arrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the first one I got into with the CW Arrowverse, and I get it. I understand that that's not the tone of Green Arrow in the comic books, like whatsoever. It's basically just Batman with a green hood. I don't care. I had a blast with the show. Just seeing this more, I prefer my comic book shows to be the dark and gritty route. This like just spoke to me perfectly. Also, Blake Neely's incredible soundtrack for the show all the way through. Some really great action scenes, some great character moments. Stephen Amell, I really like his work in the show. Granted, the show I think definitely overstayed its welcome just a little bit to the point they started to really recycle certain character arcs and things like that, but it's still a show that I just have really enjoyed and I will stand by it.
Totally fair, man. I mean, the first two seasons of Arrow I thought were the best seasons. I mean, season two especially, I think it's the
Oh,
best season
hands
of the
down,
show by
yeah.
far because you got Deathstroke coming in, and that dude's a total badass.
Yeah.
Season
Season 5 was
three,
great too.
I really enjoyed season five, but then I kind of stopped watching it altogether because I did not care for season three. It was just season three was a mixed bag in my opinion, but season four was just I almost just completely gave up on the show after season four.
That's
But
fair.
season five, I was like, okay, yeah, they got me back, but it's just, but still, it's not like a huge improvement like of the show whatsoever. So one day maybe I'll get back on it, but I don't know. I just can't stop thinking about the bad stuff that occurred in season four, or to a point where I was just like, I don't want to watch it anymore. But
Yeah. I think
but
season 5 was a proper return to form for the show. Season 6 was just not great, but season 7 I really liked all the stuff with I don't want to spoil it for you if you don't know what happens, but the first like half of it before they get to the big crossover, I think was really strong. After that, it's just kind of same old. But yeah, but I think definitely give it a chance if you do get the opportunity.
yeah, I just got to get back on through it with season six. So,
Yeah.
but my number eight, it, this is a show that literally just came out like not even like like 2 weeks ago, and I loved it when I first saw it, but then the more and more I thought about it, the more I was just like, yeah, I love this show so much. And with the way that the season ended, they better announce a season two for it. I'm going with Wednesday.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
So, I mean, I'm a kind of a big Adams Family guy. I mean, I never really watched the original television series of the Adams Family, which
Mm-hmm.
I know you might be questioning yourself. Why are you an Adams Family fan if you never watched the show? Well, a little bit too old school for me.
Yeah,
I'll,
fake
I'll just say
fan, fake fan.
that. Yeah, but but I love the two movies with Christina Ricci as Wednesday Adams. I mean, they're
Mm-hmm.
both they're both fun. I mean, the second one is a little bit better than the first one, in my opinion. I know some people prefer the first, but a lot of people do say the second one's better. The
Mm-hmm.
cartoon ones that came out a few years ago, I'm okay on, but they're not quite what I want the Adams Family really to be. Even though I know they're cartoony characters, kind of. But
Yeah.
The show Wednesday, I really felt like I felt like Tim Burton was actually coming in and actually taking the Adams Family seriously. It wasn't just like cartoonish like hijinks or anything like that. They actually took themselves seriously. Jenna Ortega, I think, is the best incarnation of Wednesday Adams like to date. I don't think anyone else can top her because like I saw it in some interviews that like some people were questioning like how did she keep the deadpan face obviously that Wednesday does. Like Tim Burton usually likes it when he tilts her chin down and obviously got to keep the deadpan face. She relaxes all of the muscles in her face. She goes,
Mm-hmm.
and she plays it perfectly, and the humor just it lands really well. I mean, my only little nitpick, even though again this is just the first season, in case they don't announce a season two, it did kind of end. I don't think it could have ended like that. It should have ended a little bit cleaner. If it was if it was a mini series, it definitely should have wrapped up cleaner. But I kind of can tell they're kind of going into a season two, which I won't be upset about if they do. I mean, I'm down for it if they announce a season two because I love this show. This is not the best Netflix show that they had yet. We got another. I have another one coming up on my list.
Mm.
So
Cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't seen Wednesday yet. I'm very much behind on a lot of streaming stuff, but I
Uh,
definitely intend to watch it soon, though.
it's an easy binge. It's an easy binge of 8 episodes. So
Ah, cool.
yeah. So if they announce a season two, I hope they do because I'm not telling you how it ends because that's spoilers. Obviously, I mean we'll spoil the shows that we have seen, but but if
Mhm.
either one of us has not seen it, then we're not going to do it
Yeah.
because we love you guys. We're not going to make you guys be like watch the show and just type in reviews being like, oh, thank you guys for spoiling us. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want that. Stop, Andreas. Stop. That probably would have been when I was a kid watching Casper. So, anyways, moving on. Um, what's your number 7 there, good sir?
Alright, well, number 7, sticking with the comic book theme, with the dark and gritty comic book theme, but one that definitely does it way better, that would be Daredevil.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, I prefer my comic book shows to be more on the dark and gritty side of things, and Daredevil is just, it's the live action dark and gritty comic book show. It takes, it's got some really great comic book aesthetic to it, like with the night, like with the lighting in the evening, and you got Charlie Cox, who just plays the character of Matt Murdock so well, and also, on top of that, you got other incredible performances like Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. Which, by the way, I'm so glad that both of them are coming back. Well, they already have, but they will be going back even more soon. And it's just got some great action, some great humor, and it's probably got one of the best supporting casts of any TV show out there. Because name one character, people are like, oh, that guy sucks. No, it's just all around a great show.
Yeah, I have not seen Daredevil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, again, I mean, I know everybody's telling me to watch it, but I'm sorry, I don't always have the time because there's other shows I want to watch too. I mean,
Yeah.
but I'll get there though. I mean, I want to watch it though because I keep hearing it's a great show, but because some people say it's not, it's like kind of a bad idea to watch canceled shows because I know that show got canceled after season 3, but I don't know. Since people were raving about it, I'm just like, I'll watch it. Just it's not on my rate like my highest radar at the
Yeah.
moment. But but speaking of Netflix, at my number 7 is another Netflix show, and I think this is the superior one in my opinion. Cobra Kai.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, I was really late to the party on this show. I watched it when the 5th season came out because everybody was like, "Luke, you need to watch Cobra Kai. Just watch it." And I'm like,
Hmm.
"Okay, if it'll shut you guys up, I'll watch it. Okay, so just shut up."
Yeah.
So I did, and after season 1, I immediately fell in love with the show, like because I feel like from season 1 to season 3, I feel like the show just gets better and better and better. I mean,
Mhm.
season 3 being my favorite, of course, I mean, because that's why I said it gets better and better. 4 is my least favorite, but it's still an awesome season because they still know where they're going. 5 is a smidge better because I mean, even though I did not really love the way they decided to end the season with. Wait, you've seen Cobra Kai, right?
Couple episodes of season 1 only.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to spoil it then
Yeah.
because those final few minutes, I was just like, really, that's the route you decided to go.
Mm.
So, no spoilers because obviously I can't spoil it for this dude right here.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course, I mean I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I mean, seeing William Zabka and Ralph Macchio come back as their titular roles of Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso was
Mhm.
awesome to see. The fight scenes are so well directed, and you can actually see what's going on. There's not so many jump cuts just thrown in the mix to a point where you're just like, where you're just
Mhm.
feeling dizzy all of a sudden. Which I can get why some people like that kind of stuff, but again, you have to think about that they're just throwing so many jump cuts to a point where you're just going to get dizzy.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that out of Cobra Kai, so that's what I got. And it's not just focused on fights; it's also focused on the characters. Like you actually feel for these characters, and even after Johnny opens back up Cobra Kai, it just starts to go downhill for the dojo because, and also just for his life. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I love Cobra Kai. Again, I was really late to the party on it, but you know what? I'm happy I watched it, and the hype lives up. I'll just tell you that the hype does live up.
Oh, good.
So, what I mean, if you were thinking Stranger Things, I'm sorry, I still have not finished that show.
How far are you?
I'm only halfway through season one.
Oh,
So yeah, I have a long way to go. But the problem is, like, some of those episodes are like, I think a couple of those episodes are like over 2 hours, and I'm just like, are you serious?
that's more towards season 4. So you've got
That's what I meant was towards season four. It wasn't really with
yeah,
the other seasons, but
yeah. Well, it's gonna be
I'll get
quite a
back.
while. Sorry, what?
Yeah, I'll get back on it at some point, but I don't know because again, I have other shows I'm trying to get back onto. So,
Yeah,
but anyways, let's see. Movies and Trains is number seven is Rick and Morty. That's a great show. I mean,
nice.
I've seen episodes of it, just never like binge through a whole season of Rick and Morty. But I do really enjoy that show.
Yeah,
Pickle
it's a
Rick.
fun time.
I love Pickle Rick. Are you excited for the new Daredevil show? I can't really say because I have still have not seen the other Daredevil show. What about you, Cody?
Oh, I'm super excited for that. I mean, Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, both are confirmed to come back. It's going to be 18 episodes, and I think they're gonna deliver something really cool. Whether it'll be on the same level of quality as the original show, I'm not sure, but I've got faith.
We'll see. Yeah, again, I'll try to check out that other show before Born Again comes out at some point. But let's move on to our number six. What do you got, man?
Well, this is the only show on my list that I haven't fully finished yet. I'm about like 50% of the way through, but I've loved to death what I've seen so far, and that would be The Sopranos.
Okay.
And that's why it's like kind of mid-level on my list so far because I haven't finished it, but what I've seen so far is just I understand the hype for the show completely. Being in the Newark, New Jersey area in the 90s slash early 2000s, like a modern mob type thing. With James Gandolfini, that fun dynamic of him being a mob boss, but having to then go into therapy at the same time, dealing with all his family troubles, and it's just one of those shows where all the characters are memorable too, especially characters like Polly or the kids. It's just overall it's wonderfully crafted TV, which it's kind of similar to Breaking Bad in some ways, with like the whole the feds are kind of after them, but the main characters have their own issues outside of that. So yeah, I can't wait to finally finish it, and it might go up the list sooner or after that.
Maybe, but I've only seen a couple episodes of The Sopranos. I mean, I liked what I saw, but I wasn't really like in love with the show like a lot of other people were because I just have to admit some HBO shows are honestly hit and miss because some of them are just a bit too slow for my liking, which
Mm.
because I watched the show called The Wire, which is another show that a lot of people have on their list, and I'm just like, I don't get it. Like I just don't get it
Mm.
because
Yeah,
I thought that show was way too slow for me.
yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but I definitely am gonna check it out at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably just get the Blu-ray set so I can force myself to finish it. But that's kind of the magic of physical media, people.
True.
So, but my number six, we're going in the adult animated route here.
Ooh.
Again, I have not finished. This is another show I have not quite finished yet. I had to get through two more seasons and then I'm done. South Park.
Ah, awesome.
Yes, I love South Park. I mean, some jokes I think are taken a little bit too far to a point where I'm just like, okay, I'm kind of turned off there. But the show maintains still be consistent. It's still a great show, but
Mm-hmm.
some seasons are definitely lower than others, like season 15, season 19, and season 20. I'm just like, mm. But
Yeah.
I'd say like the first few seasons I love, and I love season 14, which is by far my favorite season of the show. Is season 14. That's the one where they also have the Coon and friends also wrapped
Oh
up.
yeah, yeah.
I love that moment, like that argument between Mysterion and Coon, where he's just like, "I'm going to make the world a better place for you. You're making it a better place for you." Right? That's what superheroes do.
Yeah. Have you played the Fractured But Whole game?
I haven't played any of the South Park games. I've seen gameplay on them though, and
Yeah, that
they
that
do
one's a
seem
lot of
like a lot of
fun.
fun.
Yeah, if you like all the Coon and Friends stuff, you'd enjoy that one.
Yeah. I mean, mostly the kids in South Park are what I usually like to see in the show. Obviously, Cartman, Kyle, Stan, Kenny, Butters. Even
Yeah,
Butters is
Butters.
honestly one of my favorite characters. Like,
Yeah, I like it when the episodes are centered around him once in a while. He's so innocent. It's
I mean, I especially love that episode. Like, you know that I think it's in season 12 where they go to this pioneer village and they have to hold hands with one another
mm-hmm.
as partners, and the the guys that work there are horrible actors. Like they just try to not break character, and I'm just like, you guys are terrible at your job. Like, and then Cartman's bored, so I mean, why isn't he always bored? Um, so he basically drags Butters to this down to this arcade center, which is basically, I think it's called
Oh
Super Fun
yeah,
Time,
yeah.
and then yeah, they're taking a bunch of hostages. So, but
Yeah.
oh my god! But I think my favorite episode of the entire show, bar none, has to go to Tonsil Trouble.
Oh, what was that one again?
That was the pilot episode of season 12, where after Cartman gets his tonsils removed, he's infected with HIV,
Is that the one
and
where they
then
go to Magic Johnson for help?
yes,
Okay, yeah, I
yes,
know which one you're
yeah,
talking about.
that's because
We're not just serious. We're HIV positive.
we're not just sure we're HIV positive. Will you stop it with that? What part of this is funny to you? What part of being infected with a deadly disease do you find funny? I don't think it's funny,
Oh,
Kyle.
man.
Then stop saying you're not just sure you're HIV positive.
Oh man.
Oh man, but just the the love and hate relationship that you have between Kyle and Cartman is just unmatched.
Oh,
Those
definitely.
two are hilarious. Man, I mean, you want to talk about like just comedy gold at most points? Definitely South Park.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even just thinking about that show, it makes me laugh.
Yeah, I've got a Christmas sweater from Spencer's Gifts. It's got all of them in like Christmas attire. It lights up, and it says like "Merry Christmas, a-hole" on it. But like not a-hole if you catch my drift.
Yeah, I get
And
the drift there. I got it. Yeah.
yeah, I wore that to a work Christmas party once, and thankfully nobody saw the a-hole part, so I didn't get in trouble.
What if they actually saw that part? They just be like, "Get out of here."
I folded up the bottom half, so I think I was pretty discreet about it.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's good enough right there. Movies and Trains is the number 6 is The Mandalorian. Hoping season 3 is good, but I lost a little hope after Book of Boba Fett. I've only watched the first season of The Mandalorian. I never jumped back on because again, after what I heard about Book of Boba Fett, I was like, okay.
Mm.
And because I did watch Obi-Wan Kenobi, because obviously he's my favorite Star Wars character, so I had to watch his standalone show. Didn't watch Andor because I didn't care for Rogue One, but I've heard good things about Andor, so I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I love The Mandalorian. Can't wait for season 3.
Let's see. Movies and Train says, I was showing that episode to my friend. Oh, I was talking about tonsil trouble. He loved it. Another one I watched with him was Man Bear Pig.
I am super serial about it.
Let's see. Another one of my favorite episodes is the preschool episode when Trent Boyette is being released out of juvenile hall during season 8.
Yeah.
I've been looking for you. Bro, like, and Cartman just like, stay away from us, Trent. He grabs out his mom's taser. He's like, it's my mom's taser. I took it from her purse. Just back off, man. And like I even knew the cops were stupid at the very end of the episode because one beep on Miss Claridge's little vehicle stands for yes, two stands for no. Because he's like, Miss Claridge, did Shrimp Boyette do this to you? Boop, boop. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Take him away.
Yeah, the adults are so stupid on that show, but that's what makes it so fun.
Yeah, I mean, cops can be stupid in movies and TV, but sometimes it's just hilarious just to see them go out like that.
Yeah.
But dude, we're already in the halfway point
Oh
already.
my.
So number 5, man, hot takes only.
All right. Well, my number 5 is going to be The Office.
Okay.
It's one
Okay.
of those shows along the lines of Friends, Big Bang Theory. It's like super popular that, people will just give you crap for legitimately liking, but I don't care. I love this show, especially, the first handful of seasons, but, just about, you know, the relatability of just, having a job and having those coworkers that, maybe you get along with, some you like to mess with, and then just having to deal with, corporate BS every once in a while, on top of everybody just being these absolutely absurd characters like Dwight, Michael, and yeah, just one of those shows that, anytime in a hotel room, it's gonna be on TV. So like, oh, perfect. I can just kind of slip back into it anywhere and still have a good time with it.
I've seen clips of The Office. I never watched like an entire season, obviously, because I'm not the biggest fan of the show. To be honest with
Mm.
you, for out of what I've seen, I'm just like, it's okay. It's not really all that funny. I just love Steve Carell's going, no, no, like that makes
Yeah.
me laugh. But other than that, I'm just like, yeah, it's all right. But
No, you're more of a
maybe
Parks
one
and
day I'll
Rec
get
kind
back
of guy.
onto it. What?
So, oh, you're more of a Parks and Rec kind of guy, are you?
I never watched Parks and Rec.
Oh, because usually when
Uh,
people say they don't like The Office, they usually say they prefer Parks and Rec. So that's what I was asking.
or they prefer Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
Oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah, that's
which
a good show.
I've only finished the first season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I can already say I like it more than The Office.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I forget. Yeah, I forget where I stopped with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but yeah, I love what I've seen of that show. Didn't
yeah,
make the list, but it's definitely honorable mention.
yeah, I'll throw that one in there as well. It's an honorable mention for me. But
Yeah.
my number 5 is another adult animated show, which I know I'm kind of a sucker for those.
Mhm.
It's not Family Guy. I'll just tell you that right now. It's not Family Guy. You were expecting it to be Family Guy, weren't you?
But I was kind of hoping at least one of us would say it, but
No. I got on a kick of this show after the movie came out, so I was like, okay, I'll check out the movie was good. I liked it first, but I was just like, I need to check out the show.
I think I know what you're about to say.
Bob's Burgers.
Not what I thought you were about to say. Okay.
Yep, it's Bob's Burgers. I love this show. I'll just pull it out for fun because I saw this in theaters. Like it was just a random Tuesday. I had nothing else to do after work, so I was just like, and it was cheap for Tuesday, so I was like, you know what? I'll go see this and see how I
Hmm.
like it. I liked it at first, but then ever since I got on a huge kick of the show, I was like, I love this. I watched the film again, and I was like, yeah, I love this. But
Sweet.
like just this obnoxious family known as the Belcher family is honestly one of the best families in TV. Like not even like just cartoons. Also, they're hilarious. Especially the youngest one, Luis Belcher, who I think
Hmm.
is my favorite character of the entire show. Um, I'm trying to remember a good line from Luis. Oh yeah, it's that one moment when she's in detention, or she's in the counselor's office. Mr. Frond is the name of the counselor. Um,
Hmm.
and she's like, "So you're in trouble again?" And then Luis literally replies back to him and says, "Drink some cranberry juice." And he was like, "What? No, not you're in trouble. You are in trouble." I was like,
Yeah.
"Good joke."
Yeah.
But yeah, Bob. Not a lot of people think that Bob is like one of their favorite characters. He's definitely one of my favorite characters of the show. He's funny, and especially those arguments that he provides with Teddy, who's kind of their handyman, is
Hmm.
really funny. Jimmy Pesto is another funny character, and also his son Jimmy Jr. Um, But I think another one of my favorite characters that not a lot of people really talk about is Mr. Ambrose, the librarian, who's actually voiced by Billy Eichner, believe it or not.
Oh wow.
So I would try to get some of my buddies to watch, like if they like Bros, I would try to tell them, go watch Bob's Burgers because Billy Eichner's in it
Hmm.
because he's really funny as Mr. Ambrose, um, which is what's it, you're gonna sandwich for Halloween. Get it? Yeah, yeah, I get it. Which is don't wear pointy hat. Which is don't wear pointy hats and walk on broomsticks. They look like everyone else. Yeah, you're describing a stereotype. Don't be a witches. Witches are powerful and alluring. How do you know so much about witches, Mr. Ambrose? Duh, I work in a library. Oh, okay. And I am one.
Oh man.
I'm sorry. Some of these shows are just so quotable where to a point where I just
Yeah.
can't stop.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I love Bob's Burgers. I mean, the new season did come out, but I have not been keeping up with that week to week. I'm just waiting for all the episodes to come out, and then I'll binge all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen all of Bob's Burgers, but I really like what I've seen.
Gene is a good character for sure, but sometimes his humor is a little far fetched for me.
Hmm.
Because I think most of his jokes are mostly sexual jokes.
Oh.
So, because if you listen to some of the if you watch some of those videos where it's him being inappropriate for 4 minutes, you can tell it's mostly sexual humor.
Mm-hmm.
But no offense to the guy who plays him, but lower down on that a little bit. But let's see. Chat. Andrea says Andor is a solid 7 out of 10. Cool. Makes me kind of excited to check it out. Number 5 for movies and trains is Break. Oh, come on. That's fair, though. He says he hasn't finished it, so that's fair. I love the show, but for some middle of seasons, I think that they start off strong and then have a lull in the middle. Don't really love that, but I really enjoy the show. Wait till you get to season 4. That is when things explode. No pun intended. No pun intended if you get the joke. I tried getting back to watch The Office. For some reason, Peacock took the deal off where the first few seasons were free to watch. Made me really... Oh.
Freaking Peacock.
That's why I don't watch much stuff on Peacock besides just movies.
I don't have Peacock. I refuse to get it until a certain movie on it drops next year, which I'll get to later.
I think I might know what you're talking about, but at the same time, I don't.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like, for God's sake, I'll finally get Peacock just for that. Then I'm unsubscribing right after.
I feel like I got it to do one of my watch-alongs for the Halloween series because that was the only way I was going to be able to watch it streaming. I did not want to pay to rent it.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I've been watching a lot of movies on there. Like I watched Vengeance.
Oh, that's a good one.
I watched Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, and I'm actually planning on rewatching Bros on Peacock because finally they put it on Peacock. Took them long enough, Jesus, because I saw that in theaters like a few days before they took it out because it wasn't doing well at my theater. So if it doesn't do well at the theater, two Fridays later they take it out. So, and Bros was the case, and I was the only person in my theater when I saw it. So, yay! Nice. but it added for the better experience for me because it was laugh out loud hilarious. But Bob's Burgers is really fun. Yes, it is. I gotta hop back on for season 13. But again, dude, we're still halfway through. So,
yikes.
All right, what do you got, man? Number 4.
All right, number 4 is straying away from the comedy a bit, but going into the paranormal with the X-Files.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah, it's just really cool, kind of like like a Monster of the Week type show where they go to different parts of the country. They explore some different creatures that are of local myth than some original ones, and this whole alien conspiracy that surrounds the entire thing, and the government's shady back dealings with all that stuff as well. And Mulder and Scully's chemistry throughout the whole thing is just fantastic, and also that theme song is just, it's absolutely iconic. I love the show to death.
I haven't seen the X-Files.
Well, we
I've
definitely should
seen
if you get the chance.
I've seen the movies though. I've seen both the movies, the X-Files and the X-Files I Want to Believe. I've seen those two,
Oh, cool.
but I remember nothing about them. But
That's fair.
I've seen clips of the show before, but I just never watched an episode like start to finish. So,
Yeah,
but
there's like
but
11 seasons and they're an hour each, so it takes a while to get through.
yeah, sometimes like when like those types of shows are like that many seasons and they have so many episodes, I tend to stay away from that because it'll take me like months to get through it. Like
Yeah.
big example of that would be Supernatural. Like that show has like 22
Oh, yeah.
episodes per season, and I'm just like, well, I don't want to just be staying up for 24 hours. So,
Yeah. I haven't seen
but
that show either, but I hope to at some point, so fangirls online don't attack me.
I've only made it through the first 3 episodes, and I'm just like, I'll wait until the time is really really right to finish the show
Hmm.
because there's 15 seasons of Supernatural. So
Oh, yeah, that's true.
yeah, I'm not on that yet, but let's move on. We're not going to talk about that right now. But my number 4 might sound kind of crazy to some people because of some of the seasons were just yeah, but ever since I finished this show, I have not stopped thinking about it, and every time I think about it, I like it more. Minus the final season, my good old boy Dexter,
Ah, sweet.
which I binged through all 8 seasons, and I did watch Dexter New Blood. So yes, I am caught up with Dexter. Um, how do I say this? The first 4 seasons of the show are the best seasons, like bar none.
Mm-hmm.
Like one is definitely great. 2 is even better. 3, the least of the pack, but still really good. 4 is the best season by far. Was the best season for sure. 5 was good, but there is major issues with that season. 6 was a mixed bag. 7 was better than 6, but not quite as good as 5. And 8 was horrible.
Mm.
Like, because don't mind if I spoil this kind of because sometimes I have to spoil crap.
For the
Um,
final season?
it's during the final season because
I think it's been spoiled for me anyway. I haven't seen the show either, but I think I know what you're talking about anyway, because the internet be like that
it's
sometimes.
the scene where his sister Deb realizes he has to kill him, so she decides to take the wheel on him and crash the car into a lake. And then all of
Mm.
a sudden, it's just like, oh no, we're good now. Like, I was gonna come after you at first, but now we're good. I'm just like, what were you thinking?
Hmm.
What were you thinking? Because every episode after that sequence is just garbage. Because
Oh, really?
yeah, every episode after that sequence is complete garbage. Like the first few episodes were decent. Where I was just like, it's not top tier Dexter, but they're doing a fine job. And then after that, I'm just like, oh no, 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 no. And the way they decided to end that season, I was just like, why? So I
Hmm.
watched Dexter New Blood. I was really enjoying what I was seeing out of it until the final 15 minutes, and I was so angry when I was watching that finale. But
Mm.
you'll know what I'm talking about whenever you decide to watch New Blood because
Oh, yeah. I saw plenty of discourse on Twitter over it, people who were watching. So I'm like, oh, great. When I get around to that, I'm in for a treat.
but I can understand if you like the way that they decided to end things with New Blood. But for me, it was even worse than the season 8 finale.
Mm.
So I was just like, but again, the more I thought about the show, the more I liked it because I love the concept of a serial killer that is honing his addiction and taking it out on other serial killers.
Mm.
Especially in
Yeah.
season 4, like when he is against John Lithgow's Trinity Killer, which he's the best villain of the entire show, like bar
Hmm.
none. Is the Trinity Killer. But I love Michael C. Hall as the character. I mean, I love all the characters, but sometimes again, some of them I'm just like, okay, you don't need to be here. But other than that, Dexter for sure. Again, minus season 8, I'm just like, I love the show.
Hmm.
So, but but you haven't seen like any of the show, or you just haven't like got caught up.
Uh, yeah, I think I watched like the first episode like a year ago, but then new shows came out that I wanted to watch, then got into other ones, so it kind of fell into the backlog a little bit. But it's one of those like I keep meaning to watch it. I will at some point, but I can't say when.
Ah, that's
Yeah,
totally fair, man. Like,
yeah,
because sometimes not all TV shows are like ones where you're just like, okay, that piques my interest. I'm watching it right away.
yeah.
Because that's what happened with me with the show Preacher. Like, I watched the first episode and I was just like, I'm done.
Mm,
I mean, I never read the comics, but I can already tell that the comics are going to be far superior than whatever they gave us in that show.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm not going to talk about Preacher. Andre says, Cody, X Files great pick, but the last new seasons sucked off it. Oh, bro.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think I watched the final season. I think she talked about season 11, which is the one that came out a few years ago. I don't think I don't, yeah, I don't think I actually watched that one if I think about it, but more of like the classic seasons of the show back when it was, brand new. Those are definitely strongest, so
For sure.
I'll keep that in mind when I finish that at some point.
Let's see. Movies and Trains says number 4 is Cobra Kai. Okay. Thoroughly enjoyed the show since it dropped on Netflix. Season 1 and 4 are tied. Interesting, for sure. I love I love all the seasons, but again, season 3, I love season 3.
Yeah.
But anyways, top 3. Here we go. What's your
Oh
number
boy.
3?
All right. Well, number 3 is considered one of the best animated shows of all time, one of the best comic book shows of all time, and that would be Batman the Animated Series.
Oh,
For many
good
people,
one.
it's the definitive take on the universe of Batman. Of course, it's what gave us Kevin Conroy's iconic performance. May he rest in peace. Mark Hamill's equally as iconic performance as the Joker, giving us a more mature take on the character in a more easily palatable, still family friendly medium, which I think shows how well you can make a show that appeals to both audiences, adults and children. The score is just perfect. The Art Deco design, everything drawn on black paper, just looks so fantastic. Gives it reinvents a lot of characters like Mr. Freeze and Two Face, especially. You know, there are a couple things here and there that aren't the best, like the portrayal of Bane. I'm not a huge fan of, but otherwise, like, how can you not be a Batman fan and not love the animated series as well?
Yeah, for sure. I love the Batman animated series, but I'm unfortunately going to throw that in as an honorable mention.
Hmm.
But it's a great show for sure. I love the Batman animated series, and again, it's the best portrayal of Batman, like in
Yeah.
regards to the animated realm. Like, if we're just talking about animated realm, I think it's the best incarnation of Batman.
Oh yeah,
But
I even have the
what?
replica grapnel launcher right here too.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Anyway.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, I love the Batman animated series. But yeah, if we're talking about live action, to be honest with you, I think Robert Pattinson is the best incarnation of Batman. But animated, obviously, we're looking at the animated series. So
Yeah. Robert Pattinson, I think, has done a killer job so far, but I think I need to see him at least one more time to kind of cement my ranking of him amongst the other one. But absolutely, I'm in love with what he's doing with the character.
yeah, it's not just being cartoonish Batman. They're actually taking him seriously, and they're actually like making it dark and making a detective story. I
Yeah,
love
that
that.
was excellent.
But my number 3 is another show I finished recently. This is actually a mini series, so I know people are gonna be like, "You cheated." No, mini series count as TV shows. So, but I'm going with The Night of.
mm.
Yeah, this is an HBO limited series starring Riz Ahmed, and I think this was the show that got his career like on track. That's probably what got him the role in Sound of Metal. But
Oh yeah, probably.
so basically, the concept is like, um, Riz Ahmed spends the night with the girl at his house. He he sleeps out on the counter, which is a very weird place to sleep, but it's out in the kitchen. So when he wakes up, he goes back into the room and finds out that this girl is murdered.
Oh.
So he goes to the police for help to see if they can find the person who murdered her. But when he tells them what happened, they suspect that he killed her. So he was falsely accused and he's sentenced to prison. And it kind of shows you like what happens like when you're in prison, and also kind of the difficulties with the justice system. So, and also he becomes a meth addict for some reason, which again I know that's kind of what it's like in prison. I mean, I've never been to prison, but I kind of feel like they kind of actually captured like what it's like in prison very well, and actually kind of, I mean, it's in a more dramatic realm. It's not like in regards to scary movies or anything like that. Um, and you have John Turturro playing his lawyer, and possibly one of my favorite performances from him. He was absolutely incredible. So it's an easy binge of 8 episodes. I mean, again, it might be a little bit long, especially with the finale. Like the finale is like an hour and a half. So again, you might have to find some time to spare to watch that show.
Yeah.
So
what's it on?
HBO Max.
Oh, perfect. Cool.
Yeah, because I said it was a HBO limited series. So
Yeah.
I mean, no big deal. But yeah, I mean, I love The Night Of. I mean, this and the next 2 shows on my list are shows I have not one single negative with. So, I mean, one of them a lot. I mean, I talk about this show like one of them I talk about a lot now, but we'll get there. We'll see. Seeing Wait with the Trains is number 3 is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. My favorite Star Wars TV show. I've seen this one about 3 times through. Nice. I couldn't really get into the animated Star Wars stuff. I watched the Clone Wars movie, and then I was like, that's good enough for me. I didn't really need to watch the show.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of the Clone Wars, but I hope to watch it at some point because everyone keeps raving about it.
I know that's what it comes to me with TV shows. But some people just continuously rave about it, and I'm just like, okay, I'll watch it. Just give me some time.
Yeah, but the problem with Clone Wars is that the episodes were aired out of chronological order. So if you want to watch them on Disney Plus, you kind of have to like hunt and peck through everything. You can't just like put it on autoplay and go. So
yeah. But
from what
anyways, but we are almost done there. We're already at number 2. So what do you got, man?
All right. Well, my number 2 is Community.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I got into this show like 3 years ago, I want to say, and the whole community college setting, it definitely spoke to me because I was just finishing up my associate's degree in community college. I also work at the same school part time currently, so a lot of it resonated with me very much so, with the cast being of different walks of life, some being 18 years old starting, some people coming back years later, some much older individuals coming back, having that mix of characters in there and just seeing like, what kind of shenanigans can go down. And all the characters are iconic too, like especially Abed. He's your usual weirdo of the group, but he's got some of the best lines. And the way the show gets a little bit zany after a while too, like the episode with the different timelines with the pizza party, it's just absolutely great television. And it's one of those shows that there's a few parts, like towards the later seasons where it kind of starts to lose its steam a little bit because different characters leave and some are still at the school, just kind of going through things, which that part actually did kind of resonate with me a little bit for personal reasons too. So it's like, it's not great, but I still feel it. But ultimately, it's a show that is one of those things that just it stuck with me ever since I watched it. The characters, the setting, And yeah, 6 seasons in a movie. Can't wait for that. That's the only reason I'll ever get Peacock is for that.
Yeah, I want to check out Community at some point because you say you work at a school part time. I actually used to do that during my senior year of high school because it was during when COVID struck, and I was looking for a job. So
Mhm.
the work experience program that I used to work with offered me a job at the school in the tech department. So
Oh,
so I can kind of see why that show would probably resonate with me too if I ever decide to watch it. But
yeah. Yeah, I
we'll
mean, like,
see.
it's yeah. I mean, like, especially with, working at the college and then, like I said, with, like, the later seasons, like, especially once COVID hit and people, in the group I worked with started kind of going separate ways and we came back in person, just kind of, it felt like a shell of its former self for a while. So I'm like, oh, this is actually quite like that season from Community. Holy crap.
Yep. But yeah, great pick though for Community. I definitely want to watch that show sometime. But my number two, it's kind of funny that I'm talking about this one now because you and I talked about this one while I was watching it.
Hmm.
Banshee.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys have never seen Banshee before, I'll give you kind of just the simplest plot points of the show. So basically, a guy used to be a thief with his girlfriend. He hides his diamonds in a small town called Banshee before he gets arrested. So obviously, he goes and does his prison sentence, even though the show starts with him getting out of prison. And there's some certain moments in season one where it kind of flashes back to him when he was in prison. So, and then he goes back to Banshee, and the new sheriff that comes in that nobody has met yet, he gets murdered. So he decides to take his identity and come in as the actual new sheriff.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's kind of a crazy concept when you think about it, but Anthony Starr is the main character in this show. If you guys watch The Boys, he's Homelander. So if you guys want to see like him in his early days, that's the show I would recommend. And there is some brutal action in this show. I mean, I'm just gonna say it's pretty brutal at some points, so be prepared
Hmm.
for whenever you guys decide to watch it. And I don't know, man. I love this show. I mean, it stays consistent all the way through, even for all 4 seasons, which it's another easy binge. 4 seasons, you're good.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah. And it was a Cinemax original show, but they did put it on HBO Max. So if you guys want to watch it, there's
Oh,
your ticket.
perfect.
Yep. Because if you guys were looking to watch it and you didn't have Cinemax, well, you're SOL. So, but
Yep.
yeah, man, I love Banshee. So it's definitely a show that kind of does get better as it goes along. So, but anyways, movies and transit number 2 is South Park. Okay, got on a huge kick of the show. It's not fine art. I'm sure it'll be top soon. But with some shows I've started to appreciate, yeah, definitely love South Park for sure.
Yep.
Let's see, Bob's Burgers, Demon Slayer, and Cowboy Bebop. Okay, a couple anime titles thrown in there. I hate to be the Debbie Downer here, but I'm not a big anime guy.
Mm. Yeah, I
So
haven't seen anything, but it's one of those things I keep meaning to get into, but it's like, oh, where the heck do I even start?
the only anime show I've really like gotten into was Pokemon. Like that was the only thing I've really gotten into in regards to anime
Yeah.
was Pokemon. I never really got into Dragon Ball Z or anything like that because I just find that stuff overrated. I
Hmm.
mean, I've seen episodes of Dragon Ball Z, but that stuff is just not for me. There's some anime movies that I love, like Akira, the Demon Slayer movie, and stuff like that. But I'm just
Mhm.
not the biggest fan of anime. I'll just leave it there. We're not gonna talk too much more about that because I don't want to get more sacrilege comments. So,
Good idea.
but but here we are, man. Number 1. What do you got?
Oh, all right. I have a strong feeling we're gonna have the same number one here. So, do you want to just say at the same time?
All right, count it down. Three,
All right,
two,
two,
one.
one.
Breaking
Breaking
Bad.
Bad.
Yes. All
Yes.
right. Yeah, you can share your thoughts first.
Oh man, I think this was probably the first show that I was like, I think it's the first show I ever like legitimately binged watched. Like I got into it probably around 2013, I want to say, like when the show was about wrapping up, and I just kind of started watching it and just did not stop. And then suddenly it was over, and I'm like, what do I do with my life now? uh, yeah, I mean, I understand where some people could be like, oh, it's kind of slow, especially in the first season. But I'm like, if you just stick with it, it'll hook you, and it'll hook you hard. I mean, it's got not only do you have like just incredible performances by Bryan Cranston, seeing his character go from this, middle of the road life is just kind of in a lull science teacher to well, where he ends up at the very end of the show, and that arc that just is one of the most incredible complete 180 character arcs I've seen in any TV show. I won't spoil it for those who have not seen it naturally. On top of that, just it's got some great music, some really creative camera work in there, and it's also accompanied by another equally or almost as good prequel show too. So it's like it. I don't trust anybody that does not like this show. I'll put it that way.
Thank you. Yeah, if you don't like Breaking Bad, I honestly have a hard time believing that you're like not just a movie fan, but a TV fan. Like I have a hard time believing that. My dad, my dad like watched one episode of Break. My dad watched one episode of Breaking Bad, and he was like, I can't get into it. And I've been trying to push my dad to get back into Breaking Bad because I'm just like, you got to catch up. It's a great show.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, my sister tried to watch it like a few years ago, and she got to like the end of episode 2 when all the guts fall out of the ceiling. She's like, "Ew, gotta turn this off. That's gross." I'm like, "Fucking just watch the damn show. Turn it back on right now." I'm
yeah,
like, "That's." It's like that's part
I
of the
don't
fun of the
know.
show. It's very much a lot of dark humor, but done effectively.
Yeah, and I never asked any of my I did I never asked any of my uncles if they ever watched the show. I mean, I've been wanting to ask them if they watched it because that's the show that again I've been I've been addicted to.
Hmm.
And I mean, but here's my little story with Breaking Bad. So back in late September of this year, that was my very first time ever sitting down and watching Breaking Bad.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I was super late to the party on this one. So yeah, you can thank me later. But anyways, I got through the first 3 episodes. I was really liking what I was seeing, but again, I wasn't like on board with it yet. About a week later or so, I got halfway through season 2 and then stopped for a bit. And then a few weeks later, I was like, it's time to finish. So I binged through the rest of season 2, and then I think it was the next day because I was out of town for the day. I bought all the Blu-rays. So yeah, I'm a physical media collector, you guys. So get these on
Yeah,
Blu-ray.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so after I finished season 3, I binged from season 4 onward on Blu-ray. So
Hmm.
so yeah, and then not even a week later, I decided to watch it again. So
Oh, wow.
I love this. That tells you how much I love this show because from the pilot, like that cold open of the pilot, like as soon as you see Bryan Cranston just point that gun, like directly like at the camera, it's just like I was absolutely hooked.
Yeah.
Because season 1 is more of a dark comedy than it is tension filled as from season 2 onward. Season 2 onward is just
Mhm.
tension filled.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely.
but when you get to the very end of the show, that's when it becomes not just a scary movie, it kind of becomes more of a family drama. And it's
Mhm.
just like that's when you really start to feel scared when you watch that show.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Yeah, it's a show I probably rewatch once a year. It's like annual traditions. Like, oh, well, it's been a minute. Let's go rewatch the show now. Yeah, and I went and saw the movie El Camino in theaters. Took my uncle for his birthday. That was really cool too. So it's one of those kind of franchise, quote unquote, where just everything in it is just absolutely top tier.
yeah, like this is one of those shows that, like, I get with most shows, it's very easy to find like a little nitpick or an issue that you have with it.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking Bad is just flawless. Like,
Really?
yeah. And by the way, for anybody wondering what's my favorite season, it's season 4. Because like I said, that's where everything explodes. And I'm not going to spoil the ending for you guys if you haven't seen it, because, oh boy, that was one heck of a finale. Like, and which, by the way, that finale is my favorite episode.
Oh, wow. That's
Like,
cool.
I mean, I love this show. Like, I mean, even like when I first started, again, I had a little nitpick with season 1 because I felt kind of rushed since there was only like 7 episodes. But
Mm-hmm.
over time, I've started to understand that, like, I've started to understand like why it was, because it was during the writer's strike. So I was
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's true. I
yeah,
didn't think about that.
yeah. So, but yeah, this is one of those shows that honestly this is the show that I'm like really addicted to. Like, I can't stop thinking about, I can't stop talking about. So that's why this show's my number 1. And oh man, it's kind of like, it's between my number 1 and my number 2 that, like, it's like a huge gap between my number 1 and my number 2.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were to ask me, because again, if people just come up to me and ask, "What's your TV show?" I'm just gonna be like, "Breaking Bad." Do you need me to say more?
True.
But yeah, but yeah, Bryan Cranston as Walter White, honestly, the greatest TV performance I've ever seen. Aaron Paul as well as Jesse Pinkman. Don't overlook him.
Oh, absolutely.
And this was the show where I was like, okay, Aaron Paul needs more work than he's getting right now. He needs a lot more work.
Oh, definitely. He needs to be in everything.
And shout out to my buddy Zach Goller, because we did the top 10 episodes together. He was like, "Hey, Kevin Feige, get him in the MCU," and I'm just like, "There you go."
Yeah. I think he'd be a good Jason Todd, opposite Ben Affleck, though. Like Red Hood Jason Todd, to be more specific.
Yes, there you go, Red Hood. But I mean, Better Call Saul. Also, Better Call Saul. I'll just throw that in right now because we're going to be getting into honorable mentions in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Great show. That is an honorable mention for sure, but I haven't finished it yet. I'm only a couple seasons behind.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the final season to drop on Netflix, so I'm kind of in the same boat there.
I
I've
think my
seen
favorite moment of. Oh, go ahead.
I was thinking, I've gone all the way through the 5th season. I just have to watch the final season, which is driving me nuts, even though the damn thing's been spoiled for me thanks to Twitter.
Oh man, but I think it comes out on Blu-ray this week. Is season 6?
Oh yeah, it was sometime this month. Might have
Yeah,
to
I
look
think
for that then.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll buy the complete series. That way, I'll force myself to watch 5 or I'll probably binge 5 on Netflix, and then I'll buy season 6 and then watch it.
Yeah.
But I think easily the best moment, in my personal opinion, with Better Call Saul is the scene like where it's a scene in the music store, like where he basically he cons these people because he slips on a drumstick. Like, because he wanted to go talk to those people again. He tells one of the guys to roll the camera while he's walking up there, and he kicks out a drumstick, and then he's like, "Best of luck." He's like, "Go," and he's like, "Okay." So he walks back, and then slip.
Slippin' Jimmy.
Slippin' Jimmy. That's where all the memes came in, with Slippin' Jimmy. But that is our top 10 list. We're just going to go ahead and run out some honorable mentions since we have some along the way. So, what do you got for any honorable mentions?
Yeah, probably the biggest honorable mention is one that suddenly just came to my mind as we were going down our list here. I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe I didn't put that on my top 10 anywhere. That would be Barry, the
Okay.
HBO original. It's such a cool concept. This like Midwestern hitman goes to Los Angeles for a target, ends up deciding he wants to be an actor. So kind of living those two worlds, and all this other stuff with different gangs and targets come up, and it's kind of like one of those like main characters on the run from the feds kind of thing. There's like a couple of those on my list already, and just some of the really a lot of dark humor in there too, but done effectively. And the way the current season just ended, I'm like, whoa, I can't wait for the next one. But I think the next season's going to be the final I think next season's going to be the final one, but I'm like, can't wait to see how that plays out.
But let's see. I got Hannibal, which I finished the second season earlier today. I'm almost done with it. I haven't finished it yet. I just got to finish the third season. Like I said, Better Call Saul. Chucky is another one I would like to throw in there. Even though
I haven't seen that one yet.
I didn't. Season 1 was a banger, bro. I love season 1. Season 2, I haven't watched yet. I haven't really heard anything that great about season 2. So that's what kind of is holding me back from it. Friends, of course. I love Friends. There's a excellent show. Drake and Josh.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes. Drake, where's the door hole?
It's right over there.
You were supposed to cut it out with the power saw.
I know, that's why I drew with magic marker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So go get the power saw.
Okay, I will. I can't.
Oh, do ya? I love Drake and
That's
Josh.
classic.
That is my favorite episode of the show. Like, no question about it. I love that episode.
Yeah, speaking of Nickelodeon, I've got several honorable mentions there, like Ned's Declassified, Zoe 101, just pretty much all the early 2000s Nick shows. That was my jam back in the day. So only reason I've got Paramount Plus is to rewatch those from time to time.
Yes, for sure. So I have
Although
a couple
Tulsa
of those
King's
as
pretty cool too so far.
Yeah, some of them are also as honorable mentions. Rugrats, the original Rugrats. Don't get that confused with the new one.
Oh, I forgot the new one.
Yeah, the original Rugrats. All grown up. Jesus Christ, I'm already losing it. Real Monsters. Hey Arnold. I gotta go with Hey Arnold. Like Hey Arnold's one of my favorite Nickelodeon shows.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And also to clarify, the early seasons of SpongeBob. Like we don't talk about those later seasons.
Yeah, first
earlier seasons
2,
are the
3,
best.
4 episodes, absolute comedy gold right there.
Ripped
and
Pants,
the movie.
especially. That is my favorite episode of the show.
What? Which one?
Ripped Pants.
Oh, I love that episode. Oops!
Hey.
Guess I ripped my pants again.
Oh my god! What do you need? A tailor. Because I ripped my pants. Jimmy Neutron's another. Jimmy Neutron was my jam as a kid.
Yeah, I love that show. Oh my
god! I watched the show before I watched the movie, and I realized that the movie came before the TV series. So I was like, "Well, I've been missing out."
Oh yeah, I watched the movie first, and actually, remember, it's one of my earliest video store rental memories because my mom bought a copy of it from Hollywood Video, so I've got it like in a Hollywood Video case and everything. It's like that is just pure nostalgia right there. Popping that tape in, watching the ads at the beginning, seeing the movie like that. It's just sorry, you just taking me back right now. So,
I miss those previews at the beginning of VHS tapes. I miss those.
Yeah.
Well,
I've got the sudden urge to replay Battle for Bikini Bottom now, thanks to this conversation.
I was honestly a lot more old school when I was like in regards to movie collecting. Before obviously I got a Blu-ray player, and now I'm buying more Blu-rays and 4K movies. So, but yeah, I mean, I love Jimmy Neutron. Another one I got on my this is the only Marvel show that will actually pop up in my honorable mentions. That's Moon Knight.
Oh, nice.
I love Moon Knight. Like I was kind of dropping off of the MCU after I don't know which ones exactly, but I think it was kind of I don't know which one it was. Had been, I think it was probably after I can't remember. I think it was because of Thor: The Dark World. Like every time I kept thinking about that, I hated it even more. So that's what kind of almost made me drop off. And also, it's getting kind of burnt out because they're just doing quality over quantity at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But Moon Knight gave me hope. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the reason why I had to talk about that one, or at least point it out.
Yeah, I think Moon Knight's probably my favorite of the Disney Plus Marvel shows right now, with Loki and Falcon being close seconds.
WandaVision and Loki are my close seconds. I haven't watched Miss Marvel or Hawkeye, and I haven't also not watched What If.
Yeah.
I mean, I did watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I loved at first, but again, upon thinking about it and reflecting on the show, I'm just like, yeah, it's not that great. It's good,
Yeah.
but that show has some major problems. I mean, especially the Flag Smashers, which I think were terrible.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
I
hated the
haven't.
Flag Smashers.
Yeah, like I've watched all the Disney Plus MCU stuff, as it was coming out and brand new, but I have not had like the overwhelming urge to rewatch any of them, and that's kind of a problem. But I will at some
She-Hulk.
point. I will at some point, but we'll. But Moon Knight, I was like, okay, I can dig it.
Yeah, but She-Hulk, I was kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was still good. Honestly, I did enjoy it for what it was, but
Yeah.
there was so many missed opportunities with that show. I mean, the way that they did Abomination, I did not like it whatsoever.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
but
but
another
Wong is the MVP there.
yeah, for sure. But another I'm just grabbing these also because there's another honorable mention. Yellowstone,
Mm.
and the fifth season is currently on TV, but I'm waiting until all the episodes are out so I can binge all of them because that's how I watched all of these.
Oh yeah.
Because I bought the box set because they had the first 4 seasons in a box set, so I was like, I'll pick this up and give it a shot because usually if I buy a TV show on Blu-ray, it makes me like I have to force myself to watch it
Yeah.
because I mean that's why I buy this stuff. That's why I don't always stream it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's an awesome show right there. I think it is on it is on Paramount Plus. I mean
Oh, cool.
the clue is in the name right here, Paramount Network. The clue's in the name.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is the best season of the show.
Oh,
Season 4.
sweet. Yeah.
But yeah, I
Add
love
it to the list.
Yellowstone. Justified is another one I have to point out. Justified.
Mm.
Like I still haven't finished it. I only have one season left. I just love that moment in season 3 where a guy has a consistent pain in the butt to him, and he literally is obviously pointing a gun at him at the ground. He's like, "Look here," cocks the gun back, catches the bullet out from the chamber, drops it on him, and is just like, "Next one's coming faster." And I'm just like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes,
Sweet.
so yeah, don't mess with a cop like him because he's a total badass. So, you got any more honorable mentions?
Yeah, just to kind of think of a few off the top of my head. Mentioned a lot of that Nickelodeon stuff, so that's quite a few of them there. Some others like the Spider-Man '90s cartoon. Everyone's always like, gung ho for spectacular Spider-Man. Like it's great, but the '90s one just does it for me a little better.
For sure.
Let's see. There was just another one that I was thinking about. I think I said Mandalorian, but I'm not sure. But I've really enjoyed that. That's my favorite of the Star Wars shows so far. Even though I don't love how it's getting a little too interconnected with everything else in the universe. Like I liked season 1 when it was more of just its own thing, but now it's leaning more and more into the main Skywalker saga stuff, which I'm okay with it, but I feel like it's just leaning a little too much into that territory. But I can't wait for season 3, though. I think I'm definitely excited for that. Trying to think of what other there's any other like real honorable mentions that I can think of off the top of my head here, but yeah, I think that kind of covers several of them, just kind of off the top of my head, at least.
Yeah, I mean, because again, some shows we definitely have to get caught up on, but again, people like us, we don't always have the time in the world to finish all that kind of stuff because
Yep.
TV takes time, people.
Mm-hmm.
So, That's why I haven't gone back on to Stranger Things.
Oh yeah,
So.
that's another honorable mention. Stranger Things.
Oh, speaking of that, that's movies and trains is number one is Stranger Things. So I guess now he's cussing at me, just being like, "Get back on the show." And we're like, "I
Yeah.
will. I'm sorry." Yeah, my dad didn't really care for the pilot for Breaking Bad, so I've been trying to tell him that what you see in season one is not what you're really going to get when you get through season two onward.
Mm-hmm.
So you just finished Bullet Train. Yes, it's awesome. Yes, it is. Let's see. Peacemaker. Yes, I love Peacemaker.
Oh yeah, that was definitely better than I think a lot of us expected.
Let's see. Season 1 through 4 is another. After Dill is introduced, the show kind of dips in quality for me, and when the episodes got longer, the quality dropped even. Yeah, for sure. Out of the Star Trek shows, old or new, I love Star Trek, but I never really watched much of the shows. If I'm being
I've
honest,
never really gotten into Star Trek, to be honest with you. I've
the only
seen a
reason
handful
why
of the movies, but that's about it.
I kind of want to get back into Star Trek is because of the Seth MacFarlane show, the Orville, which is basically like Star Trek.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Babylon 5, nope.
I haven't seen Babylon 1 through 4 yet.
So why would we go on to season 5? But anyways, guys, yeah, that about does it for our list of our top 10 favorite TV shows of all time. Had a great time making this list, and also collabing with my buddy Cody. Thank you for coming on, man. I really had a good time with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I love doing this kind of stuff, just going on people's live streams, just talking face to face. It's always good to connect with new people in the community.
Absolutely, and yeah, do expect him to see him on again at the channel at some point. I plan to have him on for some more streams in the future. So,
Whether I
but yeah.
know it or not.
But yeah, let people in the chat know where they can find you, Cody.
Well, first and foremost, you can find me on my YouTube channel. Just type in the Brock Upside. Do a lot of movie reviews, some Blu-ray content, talk about like the theatrical experience with some IMAX reviews and things like that. But if you want to follow me on any social media, just type that into Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and you'll find me there.
Awesome. Yeah, so yeah, go give this guy some support on social media and of course on YouTube. Come on, get him to 1,000 subs, guys. He needs to get there. So
Dangerously close.
getting close, man. So yeah, it gets kind of scary, like when you get like that close to that many subs. So because you don't know if people are actually just going to keep on going or if it's just going to like drop down.
Yep.
But we'll see. But
Well,
yeah,
definitely.
I mean, I had a great time doing this. I will be filming a short in a little bit for my review on Violent Night because I was working on a few things before hopping onto the stream. That's why we started a little bit later. So yeah, I did go see Violent Night. I'll save my thoughts for the short that I'm going to do in a little bit. So
Cool.
but I'll just say this: don't watch that with the family during Christmas time.
Yeah, somebody brought a baby into my showing of that movie, and I was like, "You freaking idiots! Why would you do that?"
I thought it was going to be something like Silent Night, Deadly Night, where it was just a murderous Santa Claus, but it's basically that, but in reverse.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's
but
Die
anyways,
Hard
guys,
with Santa Claus. Yeah.
or John Wick with Santa Claus. How's that?
Yeah, with a little bit of Home Alone in there for good measure.
Yes, especially with the kid that kind of places some Home Alone traps.
It reminds me of that one moment where everyone just kind of shuddered. Oh, well, that was a good moment.
My theater was laughing quite a bit. Even I was too. I was laughing at some of
Yeah.
those death scenes. But anyways, guys, we're going to get out of here. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Go subscribe to Cody and also subscribe to my channel as well. Follow us on social media. We will see you guys later. Peace.